What is up, everybody? JT Dangerous here once again. I am back for my Week 10 college football predictions. Now, with Week 9 in the books, we are now into Week 10 of the college football season. As you can see, I am not feeling good, but I am determined to do these Week 10 predictions for you guys, and I hope you guys do enjoy. Now, our record coming into Week 10 after a pretty average Week 9, we went 8-8. So our overall record coming in is 66-38. So it's our first non-winning record in our college football predictions on the channel this year. And it ended our 5-week winning streak. So I'm pretty sad on that. But hey, it wasn't a winning record, wasn't a losing record, it was a 500 record. So there's always room for improvement. So hopefully in this video we will get back on the winning track and start a new winning streak. Now, we got a lot of videos that are going to be up on the channel today, so I hope you guys will be able to watch all of these videos. So always show your support by watching these videos, super kicking those like buttons, hitting that notification bell, and commenting your picks, your opinions, and representing your college football teams in the comment section down below. Now, this is your first time watching my channel as a first-time viewer, and this is your first video. Boy, you picked a good one if you're a huge college football fan like myself and you're ready for Week 10 of the college football season. Welcome to the Dangerous Lions. I am JT Dangerously. Welcome to the club, because this club is to... Whoop, whoop. Again, thank you guys so very much. Now, other than that, let's get right into these Week 10 predictions. Starting off on Thursday night with an American Athletic East Conference showdown between the Temple Owls heading to Central Florida to face the undefeated Central Florida Knights. Now, Temple Owls are coming off a bye in Week 9. They're coming in at 5-3, one win away from eligibility, and they're looking to knock off the last undefeated team in the American Athletic Conference. And they've already done it. They've already knocked off one of the undefeated teams that were in this conference, the Cincinnati Bearcats, in Week 8. So they have history of knocking off an undefeated team, and they're looking to do it right here on Thursday night. Then on the other side, you have the undefeated UCF Knights coming off their bye in Week 9. They're coming in at an undefeated 7-0. Now, with South Florida's loss to Houston, UCF is the only undefeated team left in the American Athletic Conference, and they're looking to continue their undefeated streak, and they're looking to once again win the American Athletic Conference and continue their NCAA league leading wins. I think they have the most wins in NCAA right now. So coming from me in this matchup on Thursday night, I think Temple will keep it close, but coming from me, I'm taking the UCF Knights to remain undefeated and defeat the Temple Owls in a really close one. And now the next matchup, which happens on Friday night, is a Conference USA East rivalry showdown known as the 100 Miles of Hate rivalry between the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers heading to Middle Tennessee to face the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders. Now, this is the 67th meeting between Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee leads the all-time series 33-22-1. The Hilltoppers have won the last 3 meetings against Middle Tennessee, and Middle Tennessee hasn't beaten Western Kentucky since 2014. Now, both teams are coming off very different Week 9s. Western Kentucky's coming off a loss to Florida International on Saturday. They're coming in at an abysmal 1-7. Middle Tennessee is coming off a big win over Old Dominion on Saturday, coming in at 5-3, one win away from bowl eligibility. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about these teams. Other than Western Kentucky is that they have the Kool-Aid turf, an all-red turf, a la my Boise State Broncos Smurf turf, which is all blue. Western Kentucky has a red turf, which I like to call the Kool-Aid turf. So that's the only thing I know about Western Kentucky. I don't know a lot about Middle Tennessee, and I remember them being in the NCAA tournament a couple times. So that's the only time I know about Middle Tennessee. So coming from me in the 100 Miles of Hate rivalry on Friday night, I'm going to take the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders to defeat the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. And now the next matchup, another matchup on Friday night. It is in a Pac-12 rivalry showdown between the Colorado Buffaloes heading to Tucson to face the Arizona Wildcats. Now, this is only the 21st meeting between Colorado and Arizona. The Buffaloes lead the all-time series 14-6. Arizona won the last meeting last year, and Colorado's looking to defeat Arizona for the first time in 2 years. Now, both teams are coming off very different Week 9s. Colorado's coming off their loss in overtime to Oregon State on Saturday. They're coming in at 5-3. They are in 3rd place in the Pac-12 South. And Arizona, as of right now, last time I checked, was playing Oregon and they were winning. So they may be coming in at 4-5. or 3-6. Now, with the Pac-12 South, there's only maybe one or two teams that are good, and that's the Utah Utes right now and the USC Trojans. But Colorado is still right up there. They're a win away from bowl eligibility, and they're looking to get a big Pac-12 South victory. The only other side of the Arizona Wildcats, last time I checked, they were up in that game against Oregon. If they can knock off the Oregon Ducks, that's a big win for the Arizona Wildcats. Khalil Tate was back in the lineup for quarterback. And Arizona, if they're coming off a big win over Oregon, they're looking to get another big win against a Pac-12 South rival. So coming from me in this matchup on Friday night, I'm going to go with the Colorado Buffaloes to defeat the Arizona Wildcats in a close one. And now the next matchup. It is a battle of two military academies between the Air Force Academy Falcons heading to West Point to face the Army Black Knights. Now this is the 53rd meeting between Air Force Academy and the Army Black Knights. Air Force Academy leads the all-time series 36-15-1. Army won the last meeting last year, and the Air Force Academy is looking to defeat Army for the first time in 2 years. Now, both teams are coming off very different Week 9s. Air Force is coming off their loss to my Boise State Broncos on Saturday. They're coming in at 3-5, and Army's coming off a big win over Eastern Michigan on Saturday, coming in at 6-2. So I kind of think we already know who's going to win the Commander-in-Chief's trophy between the three military academies. It looked like it's going to be Army. Air Force they did give my Boise State Broncos a little bit of a test, but Boise got it done. And Air Force is not having a great year. Neither is Navy. Navy got blown out by Notre Dame on Saturday. So coming from me in this battle of the two military academies, I am taking the Army Black Knights to defeat the Air Force Academy Falcons. And now the next matchup. It is a battle of the two best teams in the SEC East, pitting the Georgia Bulldogs heading to Kentucky to face the Kentucky Wildcats. Now this is the 72nd meeting between Georgia and Kentucky. Georgia leads the all-time series 57-12-2. Georgia has won the last 8 meetings against Kentucky, and Kentucky's looking to defeat Georgia for the first time since 2009. Now both teams are coming off big wins against SEC conference opponents. Georgia coming off a big win in Jacksonville, defeating the Florida Gators, coming in at an impressive 7-1. And Kentucky's coming off a nail-biter win in the last couple seconds in the fourth to defeat Missouri, and they're also coming in at 7-1. Now, both these teams are deadlocked in the SEC East, both at 1-2. So whoever wins this game will be the outright winner of the SEC East. Now, Georgia looked good against Florida. They got it done. A lot of people did not pick Georgia to win that game. I know Lee Corso picked Florida to win, so he took that L there. But Georgia looked good. They're getting back into motion after that loss to LSU, and they're looking to assert their dominance in the SEC East with a big win. The only other side of the Kentucky Wildcats coming off a big win. They had to win with no time on the clock, and they got a last-second touchdown to beat Missouri on Saturday. And they're coming in with a lot of momentum because if they can win this game, they'll be the best team in the SEC East. And who would have thought that the Kentucky Wildcats would be the best team in the SEC Eastern Conference? So coming from me in this huge SEC East showdown to see who will be the top dog in that division, man, this one's going to be so tough because I like both these teams. But coming from me, I am taking Jake Fromm from State Farm and the Georgia Bulldogs to defeat the Kentucky Wildcats in a really, really close one. And now the next matchup. It is an ACC Coastal rivalry showdown between the Duke Blue Devils heading to Miami to face the Miami Hurricanes, or the U. Now, this is only the 16th meeting between Duke and Miami. The U leads the all-time series 13-2. The U has won the last 4 meetings against the Blue Devils, and Duke is looking to defeat Miami for the first time since 2013. Now, both teams are coming off losses in the ACC in Week 9. Duke losing to Pittsburgh on Saturday, coming in at 5-3, and the U coming off their loss to Boston College on Friday, also coming in at 5-3. Now, with Virginia on top of the Coastal division, this game is big. This game will really tell us who's going to be the second or third top dog in the ACC Coastal, because with Virginia's big win, they're the top team in the ACC Coastal, and they've already beaten Duke and Miami. So they have the all-around lead in the ACC Coastal. So this game is big. Whoever wins will be bowl eligible, and they'll be playing in some mediocre bowl like the Humanitarian Bowl or one of those weird bowl names in 2019. So coming from me in this huge ACC Coastal rivalry showdown, boy, Miami looked like shit against Boston College on Friday. They put Malik Rozier in that game. It was the biggest mistake of their life. And they went from a team that was a team to look out for last year to a team just being there for the sake of being there now. They're not even a contender in their own Coastal division anymore because of how bad they're looking. And Mark Richt definitely is going to be in trouble for sure. And he's definitely on the hot seat. If they do not start N'Keal Perry, Miami's going to be in big-time trouble. So coming from me in this matchup, man, this one's tough. I'm going to go with the U to defeat the Duke Blue Devils in a really close one. And now the next matchup. It is the battle of the two best teams in the Pac-12 North, pitting the Stanford Cardinal, heading to Seattle to face the Washington Huskies. Now, this is the 89th meeting between the Cardinal and the Huskies. The series is tied 42-4. So whoever wins this will end this tie. Now, the Cardinal have won the last meeting last year, and the Huskies are looking to defeat Stanford for the first time in 2 years. Now, both teams are coming off very bad Week 9. Stanford coming off their loss to Washington State on Saturday. They're coming in at 5-3. And Washington's coming off an upset loss to California on Saturday, coming in at 6-3. Now, with Washington State, the top team in the Pac-12 North, whoever wins this will be the second best team in the Pac-12 North and be a legitimate threat to the Cougars this year. Now, Stanford is just not looking good. Let's just be honest. Stanford is looking like really bad. Bryce Love hasn't really shown his Heisman. A lot of people have him winning the Heisman, and he's really not proven a lot of people wrong. It's just not been a good year for him. Same deal with Washington. A lot of people are picking Washington to win the Pac-12 North, including myself. But Washington is definitely slipping, and this game is big because with the Apple Cup coming up with Washington State and Washington, that can really tell us who's going to win the Pac-12 North. So coming from me in this huge Pac-12 North rivalry showdown to end the tie between these two, I'm going to go with Jake Browning and the Washington Huskies to get it done at home and defeat the Stanford Cardinal in a close one. And now the next matchup. It is a huge Big 12 conference battle between the West Virginia Mountaineers heading to Austin to face the Texas Longhorns. Now, both teams are coming off very different Week 9s. West Virginia is coming off a big win on Thursday night, defeating Baylor. They're coming in at 6-1 in third place in the Big 12 Conference. And Texas is coming off their loss to the Oklahoma State Cowboys on Saturday by 3 points, and they're coming in at 6-2, still the number one team in the Big 12 Conference. So this game is big. With Oklahoma's big win over Kansas State, Oklahoma's right on the heels of Texas to maybe taking that lead spot once again and looking to win their fourth consecutive Big 12 championship. So this game is big. West Virginia is looking good with Will Greer. Texas is coming off their heartbreaking loss to Oklahoma State by 3 points, and they're looking to rebound back at home in Austin. So coming from me in this huge Big 12 conference battle, oh man, this one's so tough. I'm going to go with Will Greer and the West Virginia Mountaineers to defeat the Texas Longhorns in a close one. And now the next matchup. It is the biggest matchup in Week 10 because College Game Day will be there this week. It is the biggest SEC East showdown between the number one team in the nation, the Alabama Crimson Tide, heading to Death Valley to face the LSU Tigers. Now, this is the 83rd meeting between Bama and LSU. Bama leads the all-time series 52-25-5. Bama has won the last 7 meetings against LSU, and LSU is looking to defeat Alabama for the first time since 2011. Now, both teams are coming off byes in Week 9. Bama's coming in at undefeated 8-0. LSU's coming in at 7-1. Now, with the SEC East, whoever wins this game is winning the SEC East, possibly winning the SEC Championship, and possibly winning the National Championship. So this game is big. It's Nick Saban versus Ed Orgeron. It's Burrows versus Tua. It's that high-powered offense against that very, very stingy defense. This one's going to be a good one. And no doubt College Game Day is going to be rocking in Baton Rouge. So coming from me in this huge matchup in Week 10 in the SEC East Conference to see who will be the team to win the SEC East. Ooh, this one's tough. Of course, is going to have a tough pick with this one. This one's going to be tough. He's either going to go with the elephant or he's going to go with the tiger. But coming from me in this matchup, biggest question is, can LSU keep up with Bama's high-speed offense and putting up 50 points almost every game? That's the biggest question. This team knocked Georgia out. Let's just be honest. LSU is the team that knocked Georgia. So LSU does have a chance to win this game. Absolutely. But coming from me, I got to play it safe. I'm going to take the number one team in the nation, the Alabama Crimson Tide, to defeat the LSU Tigers in a really close one. Roll Tide! And now the next matchup. It is a Big Ten East rivalry showdown between the Penn State Nittany Lions heading to the Big House to face the Michigan Wolverines. Now this is the 24th meeting between the Nittany Lions and the Wolverines. Michigan leads the all-time series 13-8. Penn State won the last meeting last year, and Michigan's looking to defeat Penn State for the first time in 2 years. Now, both teams are coming off very different Week 9s. Penn State's coming off a very close win over the Iowa Hawkeyes on Saturday. They're coming in at 6-2, bowl eligible. And Michigan's coming off a bye in Week 9. They're coming in at 7-1. Now, Michigan is the top team in the Big Ten East right now, with Ohio State at number 2, Michigan State at number 3, and Penn State at number 4. So this is a big game, especially in the Big Ten East, with Ohio State's loss to Purdue. Michigan definitely took advantage of it, and this game is big. Penn State getting a big win over Iowa in a nail-biter. They only won by 6, but if they can knock off the best team in the Big Ten Conference right now in Michigan, it would definitely shake up the Big Ten Conference. Then you got Michigan's coming off a bye. They're 7-1. Jim Harbaugh is having a fantastic year. He's only lost to Notre Dame, and he's avenged every loss he had last year. So if he can knock off Penn State, the team that beat them last year, Michigan will definitely be right up there with the top teams in the Big Ten. So coming from me in this Big Ten East rivalry showdown, ooh, man, Shea Patterson versus Trace McSorley. James Franklin versus Jim Harbaugh. This one's going to be a good one. This one's going to be a really good one. But coming from me in this matchup, being this game is in the Big House and winning at Michigan is not easy, I'm taking Shea Patterson and the Michigan Wolverines to defeat the Penn State Nittany Lions in a close one. And now the next matchup. It is another Big 12 conference battle between my Oklahoma Sooners facing off against the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Now, this game will be played at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, so this is practically a home game for the Texas Tech Red Raiders, just like in Jacksonville with Florida and Georgia in Week 9. So, both teams are coming off very different Week 9s. Oklahoma's coming off a big win over Kansas State, and they're coming in at 7-1. And Texas Tech is coming off an upset loss to the Iowa State Cyclones on Saturday, coming in at 5-3. Now, with Oklahoma, the only thing they need to do is continue winning and hope Texas or West Virginia stumbles, and they have a chance to win their 4th Big 12 championship, with Kyrie Murray running the show, Lincoln Riley doing a fantastic job coaching. The Sooners team is definitely red hot right now. Then on the other side, you have the Texas Tech Red Raiders coming off that shocking loss to the Iowa State Cyclones. I didn't expect them to lose that game, and I picked them. So that did not look good on my part. Cliff Kingsbury is looking to get a big win in the Big 12, and what a way to do it, to knock off the second best team in the Big 12 conference right now in Oklahoma. So coming from me in this Big 12 shootout, which this definitely will be a shootout because they put up monster numbers with no defense involved. So coming from me, I think you already know I'm going to be taking my Oklahoma Sooners to defeat the Texas Tech Red Raiders. And now the next matchup. It is a MAC West rivalry showdown between the Central Michigan Chippewas heading to Eastern Michigan to face the Eastern Michigan Eagles. Now this is the 96th meeting between Central Michigan and Eastern Michigan. The Chippewas lead the all-time series 60-29-6. Central Michigan won the last meeting last year, and the Eagles are looking to defeat the Chippewas for the first time in 2 years. Now, both teams are coming off very bad weeks in Week 9. Central Michigan coming off their loss to Akron on Saturday. They're coming in at an abysmal 1-8. And Eastern Michigan's coming off a loss to Army on Saturday. They're coming in at 4-5. Now, another two teams I don't know a lot about. We picked Central Michigan against Western Michigan last week, and Western Michigan got it done. So this is the second time we're seeing Central Michigan in my college football predictions. But other than that, that's the only thing I know about both these teams. I know they're both from Michigan and they're rivals. So coming from me in this MAC West rivalry showdown, I'm going to take the Eastern Michigan Eagles to defeat the Central Michigan Chippewas. And now the next matchup. It is a Big Ten West rivalry showdown between the Iowa Hawkeyes heading to Purdue to face the Purdue Boilermakers. Now this is the 89th meeting between Purdue and Iowa. Purdue leads the all-time series 47-38-3. Purdue won the last meeting last year, and Iowa's looking to defeat Purdue for the first time in 2 years. Now, both teams are coming off losses in Week 9. Iowa's coming off their heartbreaking loss to Penn State on the road on Saturday, coming in at 6-2. And Purdue's coming off a loss to Michigan State on Saturday, coming in at 4-4. Now, with the Big Ten West getting very interesting with Northwestern at the top spot, then Wisconsin, then Iowa. This game is big for the Hawkeyes because they win this game, they can get a little bit closer to winning the Big Ten West and possibly winning the Big Ten championship. Now, with Purdue, the team that knocked off Ohio State, definitely got to their heads against Michigan State, and they just fell short against the Sparty. So Michigan is looking to get another big win, especially in the Big Ten West, and knock off a perennial contender in that division. So coming from me in this Big Ten West rivalry showdown, I think Purdue will make it interesting, but coming from me, I'm taking College Football Dojo's Iowa Hawkeyes once again to rebound and bounce back and defeat the Purdue Boilermakers. And now the final matchup in Week 10, it is an ACC Conference showdown between the Boston College Eagles heading to Lane Stadium to face the Virginia Tech Hokies. Now this is only the 27th meeting between Boston College and Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech leads the all-time series 18-8. Virginia Tech has won the last 3 meetings against Boston College, and BC is looking to defeat Virginia Tech for the first time in 4 years. Now, both teams are coming off very different Week 9s. Boston College coming off a big win over the U on Friday, coming in at 6-2, and Virginia Tech is coming off their embarrassing loss to Georgia Tech on Thursday, coming in at 4-3. Now, with both these two in 2 different conferences, Boston College is the second best team in the ACC Atlantic, other than the Clemson Tigers, who will win the Atlantic this year. Boston College is having a great year that a lot of people are not talking about them. I mean, they have a fantastic running back, and I think A.J. Dillon. If I'm saying his name wrong, correct me in the comment section. But that running back for BC is pretty damn talented, and Boston College is looking to get another big win and get a little bit closer to catching up with Clemson. The only years that you have Virginia Tech coming off their loss to Georgia Tech and them being in second place in the Coastal behind their rivals, the Virginia Cavaliers. That game between those two is going to be huge, and that's going to really tell us who's going to win the Coastal. So coming from me in this final matchup in Week 10, man, playing at Lane Stadium is not going to be easy. But coming from me in this matchup, I may get this one wrong, but I'm going to go with the Virginia Tech Hokies to defeat the Boston College Eagles in a close one. And those are my Week 10 college football predictions. Now, I want to thank you guys so very much for watching this video today. Comment below, who do you have winning in Week 10? Do you see any upsets? Do you see any trap games for any of the ranked teams? Let me know who you got in Week 10. As always, represent your college football team in the comment section. Let's have a conversation about it. Of course, I'm always on to see your comment, like it, and of course, reply right back to you, because comments are absolutely always welcome on this channel. Now, I do want to thank you guys so very much for watching this video today. Now, before you guys go, you guys can never forget to do this. That like button, comment, share with your friends. Of course, super kick that like button like only you guys can. Of course, you can never forget to do this as well. That subscribe button, become part of this bigger and dangerous Dangerous Alliance, and I will see you guys later today for my WWE's Crown Jewel 2018 predictions. Strowman, Lesnar. Later days, guys, and peace.